So if you're a parent and you're having kids, you must be questioning the whole system of education, right? On what is the purpose of my kid going through 12, 13 years of school and then trying to figure out what they need to do later, and realizing that degrees are not required in the future. Even right now, top companies are not hiring based on degrees. They're hiring based on skill sets and aptitudes and stuff like that. So I'm going to talk about the problem of our education system. I'm going to talk about the problems in our employment system. Most people talk about the problem, but I want to give you a 11-step solution to it. And what should be the qualities of future teachers if you have to really make this happen? Because it's not about the system as such. It is about the person who's teaching within the system. Okay, so no matter what we do in terms of policy making and whatever, it boils down to the teachers. So the reason why I created my community called the Internet Lifestyle Hub is because I want to create this new breed of teachers who are able to understand this new format of teaching so that we can impact all segments of society. So it's not just that kids have to go to school and learn. It's even adult education. So education is a lifelong learning journey. Okay, and my grandfather, when I was a small boy, he told me, he quoted Mark Twain. He said, "Never let schooling interfere with your education." So in this video, I want to just break it down and tell you. First of all, I'll unveil the problems for current education system. Then I'll unveil the problems of the employment system, which is a continuation of that. And then I'll give you the solution to it. So, and if you want to become like a teacher, I will tell you what should be the qualities. And I'll tell you every person needs to become a teacher, irrespective of what you're doing. Like, for example, I'm a marketer. I do a lot of digital marketing stuff, but I'm also teaching at the same time, and I'm teaching based on my experience. So the quality of the information is it's an experiential knowledge that's going out, and that has an impact on the audience. Okay, so take a lot of notes and let's get straight in. So first, let's get into the education system, the problems, the 11 problems that I know of the education system. The first one is lack of vision of the future, meaning that there's a lot of stuff that's going on in this space, but many of the systems of education and the curriculum that's there in the current education system is outdated. Things are changing so fast, and the problem with it is by the time something gets approved into that formal system, it keeps changing. So lack of vision of the future, there's a huge gap. There's a lag time between what has to be in the curriculum and what is actually relevant in the world today. Okay. The other problem in the education system is that it's all memorization based learning. Like today, if you see, you can pretty much Google for everything and you don't need to memorize or hold information in your head. And it is good to exercise the brain, no doubts, but then you can literally search for whatever you want. So it is not so much about memorization that is important. It's more about navigating through noise and getting to where you want to go, which is more important than just memorization based formats. The third problem of our system is mostly, I already mentioned before, it's outdated topics. Topics that are not relevant anymore. Some of them are evergreen relevant, but most of the topics in the school, what they teach is not relevant. And most people, when they get into jobs, they go and learn on the job. They're not learning, they're not applying mostly what they learned in school and college. Okay. The other problem of our education system is that it's an evaluation, the whole evaluation criteria itself is messed up. Okay. When I say this is, okay, if you score good marks, it's again correlated to how much of information you're able to memorize and produce on that particular day of the examination. And of course, now they have different methods of evaluating in multiple other ways right through the year, extracurricular and multiple other things. But still, you need to understand that every person is unique. Every human being is unique. Okay. You can't ask a fish to climb a tree. You can't ask a monkey to swim in water. Okay. Each one is individual. So if you have a standard evaluation process for us humans who are unique in our own ways, that's going to be a problem. And so in other words, what is the solution to this is you have to look at various other parameters to evaluate based on the aptitude and the skill sets of the child. Okay. Now, the other problem I see in the education system is number 5 is the whole classroom format and the teacher-student ratio right now in most schools it's crazy. Like even if I look at big institutions like IIT and stuff, like 250, maybe 100, 200 students in a class, and I don't know what's going on. Okay. So there's so much of pressure. There's so much of stuff that's going on, which really, where the attention is not there on the child. There's so much of peer pressure and competition that it really messes up with the mindset of the kids. Okay. Number 6 is this problem, which is the teaching style. See, it might have worked maybe 20, 30 years ago. And I'm glad that I studied in a great school and I had some amazing teachers. There's no doubts about it. But today, in a digital world where the attention span of people are so less, you have to really change the format. You can't really go with the old format. So reading and lecturing is the most boring format of learning. The best way to learn is actually to teach, but to make it more interactive. Okay. And what I learned from my mentor Blessinger is that he says that education is not about jamming information into people's heads. It's about bringing out. It comes from the root word educare, which means to bring out the best, not to put more into the head. Okay. So this is what also I've implemented inside my curriculum in the way that I teach my students. Is it's not about giving them information, but it is about giving them concepts that making them realize it for themselves through assignments and exercises and interactive elements. So this is also a problem with the teaching style. Number 7 is the rat race. It's like competition versus collaboration. Collaboration in school is called cheating, right? So competition is right on the top. And whoever is scoring more marks, you're right on the top. And the backbenchers, so it's fine. You're always going to find different segments and aptitudes of kids. But I feel that in the system, right in the beginning itself, there's a lot of competition that's entered into the DNA of the education system. So it's not a very healthy space, okay, to grow and collaborate. Number 8 is life values are not taught. Okay, moral science, scriptural studies, all of that is there as a part of the curriculum in school. But it's not about teaching in school like you should not say that, not tell lies, you should be truthful and all of that. It's very, very intellectual. It's not really practical in the sense. Like, what if you put kids into situations and scenarios and make them realize the importance of values through experiment, through actually activities, rather than making them memorize it in a book saying we should not tell the truth, we should not do this, you should not do that. That's not the way to inculcate values. Values is something that has to be lived, and you need to demonstrate that. Number 9 is the whole thing of donation and capita fees, and it's a big money making racket. I'm not going to get into the details, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows about this. Number 10 is lack of personalization, meaning that I told you the same example. You can't make a fish climb a tree or a monkey swim in water. So the personalization of subjects is lacking in the current system. So yes, they say, okay, choose an optional subject or go for an extracurricular period or whatever like that, but it really does not serve the bigger purpose. Okay, there may be some kids who are really awesome in a particular area. Some of them may be great in art or music and stuff. Why not nurture that? Okay, rather than having like a whole buffet of stuff for them to go through. So the lack of personalization also impacts them, and they end up struggling a lot. Number 11 is community service with community building. See, community service is one thing that they teach in school, where you go and do some service, plant trees, do this, that, but they're not taught community building, how to really work together as a tribe, how to really create your own communities. Yeah. The closest that it can get is probably school houses, and you're having inter-house competition and stuff like that, just to create that community aspect within school. But then there's a lot more that can be done. So these are all the problems of our current education system. And now let me tell you how this problem continues into our employment system. So in the employment system, if you see, the first problem that people face is they join profit-focused companies and very less mission-focused companies in the world today, where it's more everybody's a number on the Excel sheet. And exactly like how the schooling system is, everybody's just a number on their Excel sheet in the schooling system, they end up becoming a number on the Excel sheet in the employment system. So the actual value of the person is not really taken care of. So what ends up happening is these other things. The rat race continues, race to the top, who's going to become CEO, and who's going to work up the corporate ladder, how many people are going to be competing with you in this space. So it continues over there. What was an employment education system continues over here. Right now, the hiring process also is a very industrial era hiring process. There are many tools to evaluate aptitudes, personality, skill sets and stuff like that, but it's still coming from the industrial era, because if you look at the education system, it was created in the 1900s by the British during the industrial era to create the workforce, to really create a systematic way of learning so that people become employable to be a part of the workforce. So all the criteria is met when they are getting into the industries. It worked. It did its job in the 1900s all the way till probably 2000. And after the internet age, with information accessibility, and now with the social world that we are in, the problem is not about this. The problem is the whole hiring process has to change, not based on industrial methods, but based on aptitude, skill sets. And not just based on age or what certificate that they're carrying and how many marks that they've scored. That's not really the criteria for hiring. And that's why we are seeing huge attritions happening in big companies. And a lot of thing that happens, I mentioned this even earlier, that a lot of people learn on the job. They don't really apply what they have learned in their school or college. Some concepts are there, but then once they get into the job, they actually start relearning in the job, in the workforce. So it's like a huge waste of time that has happened before this. Number 5 is unfulfilled careers. Again, the problem happens because of what the kind of guidance that kids get. Even career counselors, I'm sorry to say that many of them, they don't have a clue about what they're guiding their kids in. Okay, they are coming from the industrial era thinking. The so-called very reputed career counselors, they are suggesting careers to kids without knowing that 10 years from now, a lot of jobs will be very different. They're giving career advice and streams of education without understanding how fast the world is changing. So that's a huge problem even in this whole aspect of the employment. And because of that, people end up getting into the career, unfulfilled careers. They're not happy with their job. They keep jumping from one to the next every 2-3 years. And it's a big mess that goes on with their life. Number 6 is the EMI trap. Again, this is also a big level problem. Is once you get a job, you get eligible for loans. People are not taught financial management. They're not taught how to manage their wealth. So because they get the job, they get into a loan. And once they get into the loan, what happens? They get trapped into it. Now the loan is going to keep them in the job. Now there's no freedom anywhere. They're locked here, they're locked there. Okay. So they got to keep working because they become a slave to the system because of this perk that they got as they're getting into the workforce. So it's a very serious issue over here, and a lot of people are living these lives right now. They don't speak about it, but these are unspoken fears that people face where they can't say anything. They can't take that big leap of faith. They can't take that big jump or do something different what they really want to do because they're stuck in the EMI trap. And it's a very straightforward financial problem. Okay. And number 7 is if you look at most of the corporate companies, I mean, you can count the number of companies that are aware of the environment. If you look at the way that things are running, big companies with 100,000, with say 10,000 employees in those companies and stuff, it's environment depleting infrastructure and habits. The amount of plastic that's used, the amount of food that's wasted in the cafeterias, like you can go into those details. These things people don't look at. That's an employment system problem. The stress and pressure that employees go through is unimaginable. The workplace, the politics, the hierarchical structure, people are not able to express themselves, and this stress impacts them in their health. When they are not at ease, it attracts disease in their life. So the ripple of the education system problems continue in the employment system, and they start to face all kinds of challenges. And because there's this lack of innovation, there are very few industries and very few employees who really put their mind into innovating things. And even if you look at companies like Google, some of their best products were created by people working in Google on the experimental projects. Okay, if you go and do your research, some of the best Google products today, they were not created by anybody while they were in the core project of Google. Okay, they were employees who were given the space to work on pet projects or passion projects on the side, and those passion projects ended up becoming the main products. So some of the best work happens outside work, and again, employment system does not encourage this kind of innovation. They have very strong and strict policies that bind people in, that does not allow an employee to do anything else besides that. And it's like very industrial era workforce, work policies. Now, why does that happen in industrial work policy? You can't work in multiple factories at the same time. You need to be loyal to one company. All of that, I understand that. But some of the best work happens outside work. You need to give them the creative space to try different things. Okay. And finally, the 10th problem is living in fear. People are living in fear, not sure how long their job is going to last. And this is a problem which is even more prominent now, especially now you're living in a world like the post-COVID world. Companies are beginning to realize that technology, automation, AI, it makes a better economic decision to allow technology to replace any repetitive jobs done by humans. So imagine a parent spending lakhs and lakhs of rupees for getting a child into a reputed engineering college or a medical school or whatever. Their blood, sweat and tears go into that. The child gets into that education institution. They get completely messed up, and they're living in that state of fear that, see, my parents have put in all their time, energy and money into this, and I have to make them proud. And they completely get they get stressed in that during their studying years, and that continues into the employment world, and then they come to a point where they realize that their job is not stable, it's not secure. Just imagine how much of stress in the entire journey over here. Okay, now I'll tell you the only way to fix this is this. I'm going to give you a solution now. I'm going to give you a 11-step solution. I've thought through about this in a deeper level, and if you're an educator, if you're somebody in the space of education, please watch this and please watch this closely and tag somebody else who you feel will benefit from this. And even if you're not in the education space, just tag a friend or somebody who you feel will benefit from this. Okay, now the first thing is we got to rethink parenting. Everything starts from the top, from the parenting, because parents are now very concerned about the children's future, so they want to ensure they are in the best school, in the best syllabus, and getting the best whatever. Okay, but there's nothing like best if you actually think about it. The way the world is changing, people who have come from villages in tier 2, tier 3 cities who have access to YouTube and easy access to information and online learning, they can come very fast. They don't have to go through the full-fledged education system. And many of them are building skills and building aptitudes much faster than people in the top metros and stuff. So you got to rethink parenting and give yourself that space and give your child the space to explore new things. And this is what I'm doing for my 2 boys and 2 kids. Okay, so while I'm talking about this, I'm actually applying it for myself. Okay, 2 is you got to rethink schooling. It's a tough call on this, but many parents need to rethink whether they should really put them in the formal system of education, or can they do homeschooling? Can they try something different? I started with homeschooling my kids, and then I found institutions in my area where it's alternate. We're not going with the mainstream. Okay, but what we are focusing on as parents is building skill sets for the children and giving them the space to explore new things and to create a range of to help them build a range in terms of their knowledge base, so that the dots can connect in the future. Number 3 is you got to rethink career paths. It's no more about just engineer, doctor, lawyer. You know what? Doctors are going to get replaced in a huge way in the next 10, 15 years. Mark my words. Typical doctors, as we know today, may not have any jobs. Caregivers will be there, but not doctors, because technology can evaluate the body and give results and instant solutions to which medicines we need to have based on our DNA, diet, and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff working in the whole genome space right now. Okay, so that's one example. Same when it comes to lawyers. I'm not sure how. There will be some space for it, but a lot of people are not going to get placed as much as how it is happening right now. Engineers will be required for building infrastructure. There's definitely going to be infrastructure growth in terms of city building, and all of that. So there's going to be a lot of room for engineers. But again, you got to rethink the whole aspect of career paths, not in a one-track way to look at things. So number 4 is we got to create digital leaders. This is step number 4. So rather than creating employees, create leaders, or rather than making people employable, give them projects to lead. Okay, create entrepreneurs at a very grassroots level. And not everybody needs to start a business, but they can even be entrepreneurs. So within a system, they can actually head a project and apply their creativity. Number 5 is the step 5 is the leaders build ecosystems. So the more leaders we are able to create at a young age, we are going to see these young generation build their own micro-learning tribes and micro-learning ecosystems on specialized knowledge and specialized topics, where when you move to step number 6 is micro ecosystems collaborate. So let's say if my son builds an ecosystem around gaming, for example, and a specific kind of gaming, then there could be another ecosystem by another kid who's creating it around a topic, say like Rubik's and brain power and stuff. Now these 2 ecosystems collaborate and they can start to grow. They are actually able to build each other's ecosystems and really create that kind of a partnership and collaboration. Now, at this point, leaders will have more fulfilled careers. So when you're a teacher and a leader who's doing both, where you are not only teaching your subject matter expertise, but you are also applying that and implementing that knowledge. In other words, when you are like a mentor who's an implementer, you become an awesome asset to the society. Because what you're teaching is not textbook knowledge. It is knowledge based on your own experience of the world. Okay. And then number 8 is that's when the students of such leaders will have more fulfilled learning experiences, because these mentors and leaders who are teaching, they are not just doing it for a salary. They're doing it because they love it. This is the big problem. Most of the teachers in our current education system, with all due respect to them, they are doing it because of the financial reasons. They might have not wanted to be a teacher. Some of them want to, but there are many who are not. And they're just doing it because they didn't have any other choice. Now that is creating a big problem in the whole system and the way the children are being nurtured. So when you learn from somebody who really loves their topic, it really changes the game for the students. And I can tell you this from my experience, because I'm a college dropout. I flunked my 12th grade because I was in an institution where the teacher was not interested. And I was not interested too, okay? It's not just about the teacher. I mean, it was a very stereotype thing. It was such a boring classroom. I could not even sit in the class. I had to step out. I had 11% attendance in my 11th and 12th. It was crazy, okay? I was a notorious guy in my college, not in the good books of the teachers, because I could not sit there, okay? Now, it's not that I was not intelligent, I was not smart, I was not whatever, but that's the tag that we get, right? When I was an outstanding student standing outside class, I got the tag that, no, Siddharth is not a good student. Yeah. So I took that head on. But then when I went and did my sound engineering, I ended up topping the university, scored 92%. I became a lecturer at the age of 19, just to show you that when I had a fulfilling learning experience in my sound engineering days, that helped me progress and grow. And that was because of my teachers. Okay. And the teachers who were teaching me sound engineering, they were just a few years elder than me. They were not like, very old people, and there was no generation gap as such. Okay. Number 9 is, when students have a more fulfilled experience, this will create more opportunities for growth, because now students love their topic, and the way that they can grow in their careers will be much faster. And when that happens, the personal growth of that student impacts the community growth. Imagine when more and more people in this world are living aligned lives, okay, when more and more success stories are created, that creates a community growth, and that in turns, the community growth impacts the economic growth of the nation. Okay, so when everybody's contributing, they're making good money, they're paying their taxes, when this whole ecosystem is charged in every sense without any bottlenecks and issues, right? When the entire system is a well-oiled machine that's creating progress, that impacts economic growth. India may have like a billion plus population, but there's no use of a billion population if they are not really aligned to themselves. If they're just being a number on somebody's Excel sheet or living somebody else's dream, okay, that's not it. So now let's come to the qualities of a teacher. The future teachers. There are 10 qualities that I want to share with you, which can make a huge difference to create this economic growth. And this is the mission that I'm actually on, is to create a new breed of teachers. See, the first thing is, great teachers simplify concepts, okay? Simplify concepts, not simply concepts, simplify, okay? See, the deeper the research that you do, the simpler you can make it for your students. And that's why even in my community, I tell all my students is, break it down into simple things. 6 steps to achieving a goal. 3 secrets to achieving a goal. Like whatever can be done. Like, hey, you want to become healthy? Give me 6 steps and give me the 3 secrets. You want to grow in a business? Okay, give me 6 steps and give me 3 secrets. You want to improve your relationships? I think I already told you. You want to lose weight? Give me 6 steps and 3 secrets. You want to get better at in enhancing your creativity by playing the piano? Give me 6 steps and give me 3 secrets. Like, this is the way that I have developed and engineered my whole curriculum design, which is there in my book, You Can Coach. Okay. Second thing is, you got to walk the talk. If you are a teacher and if you want to really lead others, you better walk the talk. If you're sharing some information that you have not implemented yourself, you better not share that information. This will make a huge difference to the economic impact of the country, because you're not just giving them textbook knowledge, you're giving them practical knowledge. 3 is, be the master of your subject if you want to be a teacher. 4 is, have a bigger mission in place, not just to check in, check out and just make a salary as a teacher. No, that's not the game. The game is to really love what you're teaching and make that into a mission. Okay. Number 5 is, great teachers, they create engagement in their students. So engage the students. Allow them to work in groups, break them into teams, give them some assignments, let them explore, let them come out with the best ideas. Rather than you giving them like a statement to memorize, you make them do activity and let them tell you what is the essence of that. That's even better than just giving them a statement for them to learn. Learning happens when there is interaction. Be tactically skilled, hands-on tactical skills. For example, if you're teaching marketing, you better be a marketer yourself. Okay. If you're teaching health, maybe you're teaching people how to power yoga, you better be practicing and doing your yoga stuff yourself. If you're somebody who's into relationships and you're teaching people and couples how to have a good relationship, your house better be in place. Okay. Meaning your relationship with your spouse needs to be the best for you to teach relationships with others. So all of this, it's a game of congruence. You need to be tactically skilled also. Number 7 is good teachers, they demonstrate tough love. Meaning, not everything is like hunky-dory and rosy. Good teachers also crack the whip and demand action from their students. Those are the best educators. Not in a rough way or not in an impolite way or whatever. It's like, even for me, I have a community of over 20,000 people right now. And the last hackathon, we had over 1,500 people playing the game together. And I demonstrated tough love. I said, hey guys, you got to make this happen. Don't start this unless you're sure about finishing this. Okay. And don't be a quitter. I'm always enforcing this. I'm demanding action and implementation from my students. And the other thing is, good teachers, they have the ability to use the right media. For example, I'm using a combination of my head talking videos and I'm switching between this and the mind map. So if I want, I can use head talking videos. If I want, I can use mind map. If I want, I can even go to PPTs. So always a different media, okay, to really teach the concepts well and in a very fun and in a crisp way. So great teachers use media, whatever works for them. Provide a journey or a path to your students. Don't just tell them to mug up and memorize different things. Let them understand why they are doing it. Let them understand where the dots are connecting. Because once they understand where the dots connect and you say that this is the path, okay, for example, if you want to be successful in business, you need to go through this journey. And this is the path. And on the pathway, these are the different milestones you got to achieve. Where the end goal is you be a successful business owner, you're very profitable, and you're able to create an impact as an entrepreneur. So if that is the end goal, what is the journey to that state? How long is that journey going to take? Design pathways. That's why when people come into my community, I have designed a learning path, an implementation path, a gamification path, and a certification path. 4 pathways you got to develop, okay, as a teacher. And this can be applied to any topic. And finally, number 10 is deliver results for your students. Okay, whatever they're looking for. Whether it's a business goal, a career goal, a health goal, a relationship goal, a creativity goal, or a money goal, whatever is the problem that they're facing. See if you can identify what is it that they need to achieve and work backwards to it. Help them get the result. I hope I've been able to give you some insights now on our current system, which really needs a change. If you've been watching this video till now, thank you so much. I really want to appreciate you for sticking around till here. It's been a 27 minutes video. And I would like you to, let me know what do you think about this. Do you think there's something better we can do? Let me know. Okay. Cheers. I'll catch you in the next video. Wish you all the best. Bye.